Convicted felon Donald Trump runs the Justice Department. Make no mistake about it. He's going after his enemies from soup to nuts. And he is telling Pam Bondi who to indict and the charges to bring. And it is absolutely illegal and corrupt. So he denies it. That's the thing. He does this shit on live social. He says, Pam, you're not prosecuting Comey fast enough. Then he gets on the camera and this is what he says when asked about it.
Being arraigned on Wednesday, obviously after his indictment. Are you worried that your own statements calling for his prosecution could help him actually in his defense of this case?
No, I think he's a crooked guy. He's a dirty cop. Comey, I think he's a dirty cop. He's recognized by many people to be a dirty cop and dishonest guy. So all I have to do is, I have nothing to do with the case. I just say,
but you called on Pam Bondi to prosecute him.
No, I don't call anybody. You know what? I'm allowed to do that if I wanted to do that. But Comey's a crooked guy. He has been for years.
Here's the thing. Trump, everybody on planet Earth saw your text that you thought was a DM to Pam Bondi. So do not sit there. Does he think we're all as dumb as MAGA? Does he? How does he in his mind think, yeah, I can sit there and act like I didn't do it, but if I did do it, it was fine, knowing that text is out there?
Narcissists believe that the rules that apply to everybody else don't apply to them. And so this isn't new with him. This isn't new with narcissists. He believes, and he believed in Trump 1.0, but he was surrounded by people that tried to put up guardrails and follow the Constitution. He learned from 1.0. I'm not going to have anybody with morals, ethics, or anybody that believes in the Constitution. I'm not going to have anybody around me that believes in country over party. I'm only going to be surrounded by people that believe in Trump over everything else. And so, yes, he believes that he has a right to do all of this. It's a part of his mental illness. It's a part of his personality disorder. And it's important that we understand that. He believes that he is ultimately entitled to everything this country has to offer. He's going to rob the piggy bank. He's using the military as his own personal mob boss, military. And this, of course, he thinks the DOJ is his own personal law firm.
Right. And he fired the U.S. attorney that he wanted to prosecute this that could not find enough evidence, then appointed an insurance lawyer that was on his election denial team. And then she does it, and it's a disaster. I won't bore everybody with how poorly she did at the grand jury. But then this information came out about the FBI agent that was fired because they refused to perp walk Comey. MSNBC confirms an FBI agent in Washington field office has been fired for refusing to arrest and perp walk James Comey. And then Barbara McQuaid, who was the U.S. attorney for Michigan, says DOJ policy prohibits perp walks in which arrestees are paraded before the cameras. And do you know who responded to this? None other than Kash Patel. And look at his response. Breaking: MSNBC, still an ass clown factory of disinformation. Same circus animals that slobbered all over perp walks of Stone, Navarro, and Bannon. MSNBC has no facts and no audience. In this, at FBI, follow the chain of command or get relieved. How about that? The FBI director goes on social media and doesn't say, that's not true, we didn't do that. They say, you're an ass clown and we did do it. You don't do what we want, we're going to fire you.
They are accelerating the moral collapse. They are accelerating the lawlessness. They are flagrantly now displaying that this government is set up to assuage the ego of a frail, senile man. And I, Kash Crazy Eye Patel, will do whatever I can do to make this man happy. And we get to break the law, but nobody else gets to. Steve Bannon gets to break the law because he'll shill for Trump. Navarro gets to break the law because he'll shill for Trump. I, Kash Patel, I'm going to drive the FBI into the ground because I will shill for Trump. These are weak men, and their entire ethos is, how can we assuage and praise and butt fuck the ego of Donald Trump? You know, they have all of these. It's the weirdest thing about these people, Pumps. They're all homophobes, yet they thrive in these homo masculine relationships. The whole administration is this homo masculinity, toxic masculinity. The fact that these men claim that they are such alpha males.
Right.
And then they get on the internet and they get on camera and they sit there and lie and say that Trump is this great leader, that he's competent, that he's smart, that he solved wars. It's about the most unmasculine thing I've ever seen in my life. These men are pussies. These men are titty babies. They are broken men that have inner childhood issues, that clearly have a lot of issues with their own masculinity.
Right.
So it's manifested as this toxic masculinity. And they have all of these homo masculine relationships. It's all this bro style relationships. It's so weird. The combination of homophobia mixed with bro culture, because it's like, we're not gay, but yet, we can only hang out in bro spaces and listen to bro spot podcasts, and we're happiest in the company of men. It's some weird shit.
Well, and they all debase themselves all day, every day for this man that sits around and cries about being a victim all the time. I mean, it's just unbelievable that in their mind, they would be like, he's so masculine and I'm supporting him. It's like every time you open your mouth, you're proving what a piece of shit titty baby pussy you are. And then some word came out, which I thought was pretty interesting. Put this up, Kylie. So Carol Lenning is reporting, exclusive, senior prosecutor in Virginia is planning to decline to charge New York Attorney General Tish James, despite intense pressure from Donald Trump. Two sources tell MSNBC. She concluded there is no clear crime. And I want to remind everybody, Letitia James is the state attorney general of New York. She successfully prosecuted Donald Trump and the Trump organization for hundreds of millions of dollars. She exposed him for being a liar. She exposed him for being a fraud and a con. And so he hates her. And he goes on and on about how crooked she is. He fired the U.S. attorney that wouldn't prosecute her, put somebody else in there. Now, this person can't find anything either. Does it surprise you that she is a Black woman and he is going so hard in the paint against her?
You know, it doesn't surprise me at all, but I want to take a moment to remind you guys that in order to stay informed, it is so important that you get factual news. And Pumps and I, every single morning, go to our ground news vantage plan. Let me give you an example of headlines. The left is reporting the Trump administration sending California troops to Oregon after court loss, governors say. This article on my ground news vantage plan app says it has a very high factuality. The right is reporting it the following way. More than one way to crack an egg, Trump deploys California National Guard to Oregon. And then it tells us that this red state website has very low factuality. They're basically the Spotify of news, you guys, but it's like for people that want to be informed and armed with facts. So join us by going to groundnews.com/IHIP to get 40% off on Ground News Vantage Plan that Pumps and I use every single day. They're subscriber funded and female founded. By subscribing, you're not only getting a tool we all need today, you're also supporting our work here at IHIP News. That's Ground, GROUND news.com/IHIP. Kylie is linking that right below in the show notes. It's a game changer. I encourage all of you to get it. Now back to Letitia James. Of course, he goes after Black people the most because with his racist base, it's a really easy sell. They just can put a picture up of Letitia James, and white people are primed with the stereotypes that have been perpetrated on the American public, that Black women are angry. And so I know, and you know enough white people with racist tendencies to know they can just see a picture of a Black woman. And they're so primed and so propagandized to think, oh, she must be angry and she must be after Donald Trump. The situation about Black women is this: for Letitia James to be in the position that she's in, she had to work a million times harder. Any Black woman that you see in a leadership position, regardless of DEI, regardless of affirmative action, regardless of any of that, they had to work a million times harder. And the dismantling of DEI by these dorky dipshits in the Trump administration is to ensure that unqualified Nepo babies can continue to get these positions. They don't want a chance for a qualified woman, specifically a Black woman or a brown woman, to have the roles, leadership roles, high profile jobs that they have. If you look at Trump's administration, these are people that have no business being in those positions. And so you get a lot of white people that go along with this because they are fed this propaganda by Fox News. And they were also raised in a culture where everything has been made easy for them. And you're not supposed to think about the plight of Black and brown people. That's unpleasant to think about. So we're not going to think about that. And I think that as DEI rolled out, there's a backlash of this. And part of the problems that the Democrats have made is they do not promote their policies while they are enacting them, or they promote them in a way that makes people feel like they're walking on eggshells instead of saying, oh, look, yeah, this person uses a they pronoun. I know it seems kind of weird, but this is how they want to be revealed. And if you mess up, it's okay. We're just probably going to correct you because we're trying to be more inclusive instead of shaming and blaming people. So you have this rebirth of racism and this rebirth of misogyny, the misogyny in this administration. So when you get a Black woman, that shit hits really, really hard with this space. And she is a million times smarter, Letitia James, than every single teeny weeny little dick energy piece of shit in that administration combined. She would absolutely intellectually annihilate all of them, as she did Trump in court.
Yes, I completely agree. And then one thing that I think is the most fucking bizarre thing that I have seen on the internet, like that I was like, can this be real? We have a case where Laura Loomer, conspiracy theorist, advisor to the president, has a case in front of the Supreme Court. And Justice Alito recused. The petition for writ of certiorari is denied. Justice Alito took no part in consideration of this decision or in consideration or decision of this petition. What the fuck? Why is Alito
about to ask you that?
It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. He does not recuse on LGBTQIA plus issues where he is clearly had
I have an idea. Maybe she's his wife's racist flag dealer. Maybe Alito's wife buys all the white supremacist flags through Laura Loomer. So he's compromising that. That's weird as shit, Pumps.
It's so bizarre. I mean, he won't recuse on things he has a legitimate conflict of interest, but it's like, so how deep does Laura Loomer? We know she advises the president. She's talking about who she Loomered all the time. And then Trump, she dog walks him to firing people. This deserves more attention, and I'm going to stay on it because it's fucking weird that this crazy ass.
Do you know what the case is about yet?
Yes, it's about censorship. She's saying that she was unlawfully censored and they denied cert, so they're not going to hear it. But why did he recuse? That's weird. It's weird.
You need to get to the bottom of that. Maybe we should have one of those gals with Crooked Media. They have the lawyers. That we had one of those law professors on the podcast. I can't remember what her name is. She was fantastic.
She was fantastic. Yes.
So maybe we need to, Kylie, maybe you need to contact one of them because I want to get to the bottom of that.
It's just too weird.
It is too weird.
Weird. Okay,
All right,
please.
tell them how to buy our book.
Okay. The It Book of the Fall, Life as a Lazy Susan of Shit Sandwiches. The link is below in the show notes. You can also get it on audiobooks. And please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We will be back with more news.